Let's make some apple cider vinegar. Did you know that making apple cider vinegar requires making apple cider into vinegar? So we have to ferment some apple juice into hard cider. And then we're going to add a colony of bacteria to it that is going to turn the alcohol into acetic acid, which turns the cider into vinegar. This is our CraftaBrew Apple Cider Vinegar Premium Kit. We're going to open it up, take a look at what's inside, and then make some apple cider vinegar at home. So inside this kit is everything you need to make apple cider vinegar, except for the apple juice. You'll have to bring your own apple juice to the table. We have the jar that it's going to ferment in, the vinegar mother. This is the active bacterial culture that is going to do the work to turn the cider into vinegar. We've got a funnel and a cloth elastic that covers the top of the jar. Then, of course, there is sanitizer, brewing yeast, and our guide to making apple cider vinegar at home. So we have to start by making sure that this is sanitized because we don't want any bad buggies getting into our cider. The only microbe we want in there is the brewer's yeast that we are adding. So we're gonna put a gallon of water in here and half of our sanitizer packet in, and then we'll get it mixed up so that way our vessel is sanitized and ready to make cider. So we're gonna add half of this packet. The easiest way to do that is to kind of, get it kind of even on a horizontal plane and bend it in half. And then you can just rip off the bottom and half of your sanitizer will go right in. Save the other half. We're gonna need that for sanitizing this vessel again when we add the vinegar mother here in about 13 days. We'll just stir this up until all the granules have dissolved. Now we'll sanitize the elastic, and that just needs to soak for between 1 and 2 minutes in order to make sure that it is totally sanitized. Okay, now that it's sanitized, go ahead and wring it out, and then we'll dump the sanitizer down the drain, and we'll mix up our apple cider. This part of the process really couldn't be easier. We're gonna open up the apple juice, pour it in, up to about the 1 gallon mark, which is right here. A little bit left over. That's okay. Then we'll just add our yeast packet, cover it, and let it sit for 12 days. Over the course of the next few days, this is going to start to get very cloudy, and you'll start to see bubbles coming up to the surface. After this is done fermenting, when we come back, that is when we will add the vinegar mother. So I'm gonna put this in a safe, cool, dark place where no cross-contamination can happen, and then we'll come back on that 13th day for next steps. Our cider is finished fermenting, and as you can see, there's a nice layer of sediment developing at the bottom. We're gonna harvest that yeast and use it for our next batch of cider that is to become vinegar. So to do that, we gotta sanitize all our gear and equipment again. And then we'll get the cider and vinegar mother mixed up so we can turn this cider into apple cider vinegar. So first things first, let's mix the rest of our sanitizer packet with this gallon of water. All right, then anything that might come in contact with our vinegar needs to go in the sanitizer, including this. And of course, we'll sanitize the jar that we're gonna keep our yeast in. We just want 2 minutes of contact time on everything to make sure that it is thoroughly sanitized. Now we can get rid of the sanitizer and move our cider over to the freshly sanitized bowl. Our goal here is to pour nice and slow so we can leave the sediment behind, including about a half a cup to a cup of cider at the bottom. And then we can finally turn this into vinegar. Right as you get to the sediment layer, Just pull back and consider it done. To harvest this, we're gonna kind of mix this slurry up. You really want to make sure all the gunk is off the bottom, and then you can just transfer that to your jar. Now we're gonna add the vinegar mother to the jar. First, let's shake it up. Any sediment that's in there, we want mixed back in, so it's nice and hazy like that. Then we'll just cut off the top and pour it in. Now we're gonna carefully pour our cider on top of the mother. With everything combined, we will use this sanitized spoon to whip in some oxygen to help that vinegar mother get started fermenting. And now we'll just cover it with our elastic cloth and we'll let it sit for 3 to 5 weeks to turn into vinegar. We have vinegar. So what you can see here is we've got a little bit of debris at the bottom. We've got the vinegar in the middle, and then we have the mother on top. So what we're gonna do is remove the mother from our fermentation vessel and put it into this clean, sanitized jar, and then we'll cover it with just enough vinegar to cover. Then we're gonna funnel our vinegar into these bottles and we can put it away in a cool, dark place. So first off, let's get that mother out of there. Cool. So sometimes it'll be a little stuck to the sides. Here it is pretty loose and pliable. So we're just gonna grab that out of there. And right into our jar. Perfect. All right, now to funnel it into our bottles. We got 4 swing top bottles out of that batch, and not necessarily enough left in here to start working on another bottle. So we're gonna go ahead and pour it in here with our mother to be part of our next batch. There are all kinds of ways that you can use homemade vinegar, including just taking apple cider vinegar shots for your health, or making cocktail shrubs, or using it to brine pickles. There are many ways you can put vinegar to use in your kitchen or your bar. Stay tuned to our channel for some recipes for cocktail shrubs using your homemade vinegar, and of course, other fermentation content here at CraftaBrew.